Welcome, everybody, to today's Equinox session. Today is the 20th of March, 2025. And well, I mean, it's been a fairly warm day here, a little bit windy, but not so bad. And what I'm reminded of today is that it's important to remember humor because so much in our life, I mean, then we can always find ways to spin things in our head around and make things nerve wracking in one way or another. But when we use humor, any poison that we are creating within ourselves or so, it sort of just dissipates. It can't go anywhere. It can't latch on to us. And so really, let's use humor and let's remember to step back when we find ourselves becoming too serious, too, you know, nervous, too anxious, whatever it is, but trying to find some angle how we can make this whole thing like a more like a game, because otherwise it becomes too heavy and not fun. And we sort of just how is it going to be, how's my health going to be, what's the next thing I have to worry about, where's my lost shoe, whatever it is, but we keep spinning in things that we find that we try to make perfect, to rectify, to whatever. But rather than accepting the things as they are and sort of a little bit laughing about it. Because sometimes it is just yeah, when we're looking at the details, if we were looking at it from a different perspective, sometimes we can actually really laugh at ourselves at how hard we've tried, and this should be this way and should be that way, and oops. Just making our life difficult. So what we're doing here today in a moment, but I will let you all come and have a word first before we start. But in a moment, I'll give a short presentation also about liver function. Then we'll do a meditation together. And it's a two-part meditation this time. One part a little bit with what intention and focus, and the other part with no focus, or moving, moving back and not focusing on anything in specific, because that also allows us to sort of get a different perspective and to look a little bit behind our own scenes that we are creating. And then we will conclude. So that will be our plan for today. And so if anybody wishes to share anything briefly, and of course, I would also, since we're not that many people, I think most of you know each other, but if you don't, if you would briefly say your name, where you're from, and anything you would like to share briefly, that would be wonderful. And since on my screen, Elizabeth is up on top here, we'll start with Elizabeth. I'll put her on the spot.
I live in Massachusetts, in Greenfield, which is near Amherst and Northampton, if any of you know the area. It's a 5-college area. It's been a very cold and snowy winter, but I feel like a bear coming out of hibernation now. And I'm smelling the fresh air and hearing the birds chirp. And so I'm feeling like a new lease on life is about to start.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Susan, would you like to go next?
Sure, what you said prior to this about um, having an equal view and non-judgmental view about what's happening. And it recalls to me a time I was sitting in Nityananda's temple in Oakland, and people would typically get messages from him, and I did. And at the time, I was going through both of them. I was staying with my daughters, visiting my daughters for some surgery they had, and they were both the nastiest bees that they could possibly be. And I was so distraught. And I got the message that it's all the same, whether it's good behavior on their part or not good behavior. And so it just makes me think, well, in this situation, it's like poop is no different than roses. When you think of it, is there was a enlightened being um, in the City Yoga path that I was once in, and his name was Ziprawana, and he would sit on a pile of garbage and poop. He would just typically sit there, and I used to think of that image when I walked by this particular psychologist's office at my school where I taught, who was really someone that I did not get along with at all, and I was just, I'm sitting on a pile of poop. So as much as I can stay in that perspective with equanimity or equilibrium or whatever you want to call it, the better off. So,
Right. Thank you, Susan. Very well. Very good. Yes. I mean, definitely, there's from a perspective of the soul, both has a strong smell, the roses and the SHIT. And so it's a peak experience just in two different directions from our perspective, from the soul's perspective. It's a peak experience because there is no up or down.
and they're both God consciousness, both the poop and the roses.
That's
There's
right.
really no difference between anything.
No, because it's all divine.
It's all divine consciousness. Yeah.
Brian, may I ask you if you wish to?
Yeah, I'm Brian. I live in Western North Carolina on the edge of the Smoky Mountains. I've studied macrobiotics for a number of years. That's about it.
Thank you, Brian. Wendy.
Okay. I think most of you know me, Wendy Steinbaum in Atlanta. Yesterday it was beautiful, and today I'm freezing. So that's the beauty of Atlanta. You get a reprieve, and then you get the cold again. But anyway, I love living here. I'm grateful for it. And I've been working on macrobiotics since 1984. I have given up trying to get it right. I just do the best I can every day. It's too much for me to keep in track what's good, what's bad, and I try the best I can and pray for the best. And I'm always open, and I seem to get very motivated by all of you. Your ideas, your questions, Bettina's help. I'm good for a few weeks, and then I go back. I get tired of it, and I go back. So I'm like a yo-yo, up and down. But so far, I'm 87 years, 86. I'm not 87 yet, and I'm plugging along every day. And I'm grateful to every single one of you. Thanks for showing up.
When's your birthday? You got a birthday?
Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, okay.
May 5th, 1938. I can't believe that I have reached this spot, and I want to just adding on. What can I say you?
Fabulous.
Awesome.
So you're all a big help to me.
You're a guru, Wendy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Patricia, I don't know if you would like to speak because we can't see you, but if you wish, we'll give you the space. maybe not, that's fine.
Oh, she's muted.
Right, she is, but I mean, if, you know, since we can't see her, I don't know if she even would like to introduce herself or not, and that's fine. I'm not forcing anybody, of course, but we'll go to Nina next.
Hi, Bettina. Hi, everyone. I think I met, can you hear me all right? I'm on, yeah? Yeah, you can hear me. I'm on my son's computer. I think I met most of you in a previous sessions. I'm not able to join these fantastic gatherings too often, but definitely didn't want to miss today. I am in Canada, in Toronto, and yeah, I've been lucky to been introduced to Bettina many years ago, and I'm very thankful for what I learned through you, Bettina. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you for being here. And with everybody here, of course, it's really a pleasure to have you all here. Thank you. Marcia, let's.
Hi, I'm Marcia Rueth in Atlanta, really close to Wendy. We live in the neighboring towns, which is so nice. And I'm about 1993 at the Kushi Institute, and that was such a special time, and have learned from her many times. And I was so happy that Wendy had told me about these classes, and I've loved every single one, and really appreciate being with you each, and have learned so much from each of you. And of course, Bettina's counseling has been precious to my husband and I. So thank you, Bettina. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah.
Mwah.
Yeah. And thank each and every one of you. Yeah. Making this possible.
I want to add something to Marcia. May I do that? When I first started macrobiotics, the only thing I could do was to be with other people. I started potlucks, and I did those for 5 years in my home, and then I rented a place, and I went out to different parks, and I was up to here at 5 years. But it was the best thing I ever did, because I got to meet so many people and eat such, it was wonderful. And then, thank God, a little angel came, Marcia, and she took over. And she went on for years, and she made it even bigger. I used to bring in a couple of counselors. I don't know if you knew her, Marcia Halpern. Did you know her, Bettina, from South Carolina? Well, anyway, I used to bring up Denny and a lot of other people, but Marcia took over and made it bigger and better. Marcia, did you do that for 20 years?
Yeah.
At least
20 years. Yeah.
I was so grateful, and the community was so grateful to her. So she's not just a neighbor, she's a great neighbor, she's a great friend, and she has done a wonderful thing, a gift. She gave a great gift to this community.
Oh, Wendy,
So,
thank you.
I'm so
done
grateful.
it without you, that's for sure. You started it. In fact, you were the one who arranged for Ed to come to Atlanta the first time.
That's right.
You said, do you want to bring Ed Esco to Atlanta? I thought, Ed Esco, are you kidding? Would he come to Atlanta? And then you saw him, and he was ready to come.
That's right.
He came too. That was so fun.
Yeah, and she has much better memory than I have. But anyway, yeah. I adore you, Marcia, and I'm grateful for you. And it was wonderful seeing you at the acupuncturist today.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you for that Bill testimonial. I needed to do that.
Problem. Thank you.
That was very sweet.
Jan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Janet Huntsman, and I live in Ohio. And I've been macro a long time, and there's never any end to learning more and more about macro. And I've I keep learning so much from this group, and more than I ever expected. And then, of course, you know, the good feeling you get from the group each time, and you just get really addicted to getting together as a group. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, I don't have any expectations because I get so much more out of it than I ever would imagine. So I really appreciate that. But I do have to leave a little bit early, so I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
And by the way, Patricia texted, and I didn't see it earlier, but Patricia Spaniel texted, she's from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, and happy to hear, to be here with all of you is what she writes. And Lene, would you like to say something? I don't know if you're there. Or let's go to Irene.
Okay, my name's Irene. I've been practicing macrobiotics probably over 32 years and really enjoy it, enjoy studying about it. You can never stop learning. And done a lot with it. I'm from Orlando, Florida. And that's about it. I like attending Bettina's class. She has very good energy. She's very calm, very patient. In a world that is chaotic and hectic all the time, it's nice to attend her classes and her Zoom meetings as well.
Thank you. Okay. Let us go to the next part then, and that will be the presentation for the liver. And let me see, go to share again. Can you see this?
Yes.
And actually, let me start here real quick. I mean, of course, you know, we're looking at the spring equinox here in the northern hemisphere. Of course, the southern hemisphere is looking at the fall equinox. I just thought this was a lovely picture. And of course, I mean, you know, this we have the spin that is going this way on a daily basis. So, you know, the sun is, well, every 24 hours making a full rotation, but then also the sun, you know, the earth is making a rotation also around the sun in a 24 or almost 25,000 year cycle. And that rotation is going the other direction. So we have both of those rotations. We have the daily rotation that is going this way. We have this rotation that is going the other way. And of course, you may have heard how people are saying we're going in the age of Aquarius. And of course, there was also what that song, Hare Krishna or whatever, the age of Aquarius. From whom? Oh, I forget. But anyway, long time ago. But it is, we are going in the age of Aquarius, and every, you know, the regular zodiac, you know, that every 28 to 31 days we change the zodiac, starting basically today with Aries, that is the first part in the zodiac, then going to Taurus in the end of April, May, and then going to Gemini, to Cancer, Leo, etc. You know, that way. That's the normal rotation for the year for 12 months. But this cycle also has a rotation, as I said, going the other direction. It's about 24,000 or almost 25,000 years. So every 2,000 years, we go from one sign to the next, because the actual, the pole is actually not like it is here in the picture, where it looks like it's straight, but there is actually an angle. And so there is a wobble, and all of that, makes that other rotation. And so now we are basically for the next 2,000 years in Aquarius. We're coming from Pisces, the era of Pisces, of looking towards the divine and utopian ideas, etc. And now we're going into the age of Aquarius, where everything is about networks and maybe AI and technology and all those kind of things. So it will be an interesting switch. Yes, Irene, what would you like to say?
Would you be able to make that PowerPoint full screen?
I will be.
Okay.
This was just, it's not even, I just put it
All
on.
right. Thank you.
Right, so let's start with the liver here, with the liver presentation. So liver functions and importance in traditional Chinese medicine. That's what we're looking at. Oops. Wrong way. Let's go this way. So liver, of course, liver is an organ, that is, if here is the diaphragm, the liver is basically covering almost the whole part of the diaphragm underneath it. It's the largest part of the liver is on our right side, but there is a smaller lobe also on the left side of the liver. And of course, this midsection on the other side, and sort of opposite is the stomach, spleen, pancreas. So we have the stomach here, we have the pancreas here, and the spleen would be about over here. They don't show it on this picture, but so, these are the middle organs, which is the solar plexus chakra. This is the gallbladder, but you can see the color in the liver, dark red. So it's a dense organ that is full of blood. And while the gallbladder is green, and of course the bile is usually more greenish yellowish in color, hence the odd color here, but the blood makes it in the liver very dark red. Then, so what does the liver do? The liver has blood storage and regulates things. It stores vitamins, sugars, fats, and other nutrients from the blood. It processes the nutrients from the food through the blood into a form that the body basically can use. And what is also very important is the crucial role of storing and regulating the blood volume. Ensuring that the different parts of the body receive adequate circulation according to the physical and physiological activities that we have. When the body is at rest, excess blood is stored in the liver, and during physical activity, the liver releases the blood to meet the muscular needs. And this storage function is really vital and important for maintaining an overall harmonious body function. If that liver blood storage function is not working properly, then it can also lead to various issues, including even vision trouble, because the liver, actually the meridian goes also through the eyes, but also muscle cramps. That means in that case, it would be the liver attacking the stomach, stomach, spleen, pancreas, but stomach, spleen, pancreas, they are the organs that sort of govern the muscles, but when the liver is not doing its job, then the muscles don't, get the nutrition that they need. It could, but in women, often when the liver's blood storage function is impaired, it also can lead to menstrual irregularities. And that's really what I've seen a lot happening, especially in younger women also. Also, in some cases, it can result in excessive bleeding, even nose bleeding, or in some cases, of course, excessive bleeding also of menstruation, or in some other cases, it could also lead to stopping menstruation altogether when, way long before menopause. And then the liver also has, of course, the function of transportation and excretion. Its effects on digestion. It helps to remove waste products from your blood, including excessive cholesterol and toxins. And the liver also, of course, is a filter that breaks down harmful substances like alcohol and other toxic chemicals, and also regulates all the chemicals that the body needs. And of course, there's also always a psychological influence that we can take a look at in just a moment. But so the liver is responsible for transporting essential substances throughout the body, excreting toxins and unnecessary materials. And this function ensures proper energy flow and metabolic balance. And this often in Oriental medicine is referred to as the love of order of the liver energy, so that it regulates the body functions harmoniously. And the liver also, well, if the liver is doing well, then the liver's function is aiding also the digestive processes and also the stomach and spleen. And of course, liver secretes bile, which is essential for digestion. And if the liver's function in terms of its effects on the digestion is impaired, then symptoms are often like chest tightness, but also impatience, and other digestive orders can arise. And this kind of chest tightness and impatience, sometimes it's called the energy of the liver attacking the stomach, spleen, pancreas, or it's a liver spleen imbalance where the right and the left side of the body are really not harmonious. And actually, also the liver regulates the water household through the triple heater. So there is, even though, of course, primarily the water household is governed by kidney bladder function, but the liver also has something to do with this. And if the water household is imbalanced through liver function, then it can lead to oftentimes water retention, especially in the middle organs, like abdominal swelling, fluid retention, ascites, and other similar things that are really swelling more in the middle part of the body, not in the limbs so much, or the head. Then the psychological influence, of course, if the liver's transport and excretion functions are not, or if they are functioning well, then, if the energy flows smoothly, then emotional stability is maintained. However, if the liver energy stagnates, it can lead to symptoms such as depression, irritability, in worst case scenarios, also like road rage, insomnia, anxiety. Even though depression and anxiety are not primarily associated with that, more the impatience or rage, anger is primarily associated with that, but these other dynamics can also go along with that, like depression, anxiety, insomnia. And of course, grief also can further disrupt liver function, leading oftentimes to physical symptoms, even dizziness, tinnitus, or in some cases, even uncontrollable bleeding. And so if the liver function, the liver is in good health, then everything is great. But if the liver is not doing great, then the liver's love for order is lost, and then things really go the wrong way. And especially if there is excessive grief or sadness, which is ultimately associated with metal energy attacking tree energy. So that would be large intestine and lung energy being really not right, and they are attacking then liver energy. That would be another thing that oftentimes happens. And of course, in traditional Oriental understanding, also the liver is responsible or governing the function of the tendons. The tendons, which correspond in the Western medicine more with fascia, but the liver nourishes the tendons, the fascia, by supplying them with stored blood, helping them with flexibility and movement. And if, however, the blood in the liver is insufficient, then symptoms such as weakness in the limbs, numbness, muscle stiffness, all of those can develop. And severe depletion, some people can even have like this locked jaw, locked jaw symptoms, or tremors, or even convulsions. These conditions more often happen, for example, if somebody was exposed to a really high viral load of, infected by some kind of virus to a high degree, where the liver function just is totally overwhelmed and stops functioning. And then, these kind of things oftentimes can be the downstream effect, unfortunately. And the health of the liver can also be observed in the condition of the fingernails and toenails. Usually stronger nails indicate more robust liver blood and good liver health, while brittle or weak nails or deformed nails usually indicate more deficiencies. And as I said, the liver has a connection to the eyes because the liver meridian also goes through the eyes. And so the liver energy is directly connected to the eyes. Vision problems can arise if liver energy is not quite, really good. Insufficient liver blood may cause night blindness, and oftentimes, the more we age, the liver is oftentimes not in as rejuvenated condition as it could be, and then we get more blurry vision. But also, if there's excess heat in the liver, let's say from somebody eating too much animal food, or eating way too many spices, maybe along with animal food, or sometimes also from certain virus that can cause heat in the body, that can also lead to swollen or red or painful eyes, or tear secretion, crying a lot. I mean, not because you're sad, but because the eyes are tearing. Or if the liver is too tight, too contracted, then it can result in dizziness and eye strain. And so, I mean, there are things, of course, that we can do to help our liver. Oops, I'm going the wrong way here. Here we go. So common causes for imbalances in the liver: overeating, of course. If somebody is grazing all the time, that's really not so good for the liver, even though they these days say, well, if you have, if you're suffering from hypoglycemia, have constant small meals, and but it's not good for the liver. So and overeating also not very good. I mean, not eating too much and not grazing constantly, especially, of course, overconsumption of animal foods, also hard baked flour products, roasted salted nuts, chips, anything really hard, contracted, salty, dense, crackers, etc. Those things are not ideal in excess for the liver, especially if the liver function is not really well to begin with. And one way to check on the liver function is, by, if you are sitting down, if you can, with your hands at least, still with your fingers reach under your rib cage, then there's still, the liver is still, it's not so hard that everything is totally tight. If so, it would be good to be able to move your fingers under the ribs there. But if there's really hardness and tightness, then I would say eating a lot of animal food and hard, salted, dry products is not ideal. On the other side of the spectrum, simple sugars, white sugar, molasses, palm sugar, other sugars, excessive chocolate, tropical fruits, juices, sodas, even vegetable quality oils in excess, sauces, and of course, alcohol. These are, so we have the salted animal foods, more of the yang problem, making the liver too tight. We have the sugars that make the liver too loose. And sugars, of course, if there is, let's say, virus stuck in the liver, and virus sometimes can, hide in the liver for many, many years, sometimes a lifetime. So, but if we eat sugars, that of course enhances any virus. It makes more inflammation, infection, so that can also cause problems. Over or under consumption of salt can be a problem. So finding the right balance for oneself. Late night eating is not ideal for the liver. Excessive intake of drugs, medication, but also supplements have been shown to really, even good quality supplements, but in excess they can be detrimental to the normal and healthy functioning of the liver. Lack of exercise, because if we don't move, then the stored blood in the liver does not circulate. It just sits in the liver. And in order to create, more healthy blood everywhere, it is good to get that blood out of the liver to the limbs and then bring it back, because then everything can, be changed over. It's not stagnant. So a little bit of exercise is very good, or regular exercise. Of course, excessive exercise, excessive also tension and stress, well, that's not good for the whole body either. Of course, also diseases can be creating more problems in the body. So we will try to, get healthier more quickly, then our liver will thank us also. If we're looking at support for the liver, well, minimizing simple sugars and incorporating lots of veggies, whole grains, plant-based protein, avoiding excess animal foods. I would never say never have anything like that, but in excess, especially if the liver is troublesome, and also in the spring. I mean, it's right now the time of Lent, so it's a good time to maybe take a week or a little bit longer and not have any animal food, but also regulating fat consumption. Of course, the liver, gallbladder processes fats, and too much can also make stagnation. And that includes also raw veggie oils. Very good for the liver is eating lots of leafy greens, ideally twice a day if you're eating 2 or 3 meals a day. But if you're only eating once, then have them once a day. But if you're eating 2 or 3 times a day, then at least have them twice a day. And including spring greens such as dandelion, chives, scallions, stinging nettle, asparagus, which isn't really a leafy green, but it is somewhat green, very helpful for the liver also. Also minimizing tropical origin foods, including, unless you're living in the tropics, that's a different story. But if you're not living in the tropics, more, the normal veggies and fruits that are growing in your area, especially fruits, are better to be taken from where you live. Nightshade veggies with the solan and with the alkaloids can be a little bit hard sometimes too, in excess. Using moderate seasoning, not too much salt, not too little salt, not too much oil, maybe not no oil completely either. So somewhere, finding again your balance. Very good for the liver is also the daily use of sea veggies, a little bit, whether it's a little bit of nori, whether it's a little bit of wakame, or kombu in various dishes. That also, the sea vegetables really, with their specific components of antioxidants, can really help detoxify and strengthen the liver function. And also fermented foods can be very helpful for the liver, meaning, your homemade pickles, or store-bought pickles if they are from the refrigerated section, but the fermentation supports liver function as well. Other helpful things for the liver, other support for the liver, sour flavor in moderation nourishes the liver. Now, we have to understand we're going into the spring season. And in the spring season, everything, spring season is associated with liver gallbladder function. But, the atmospheric energy is already nourishing the liver and gallbladder function to be working, bringing more of a stimulation to the liver gallbladder. So we don't need to really take a lot of sour flavor in the springtime. If we do take a lot of sour flavor in the springtime, all we do is we overstimulate the liver, and that backfires on us. In other times of the year, when there is no atmospheric stimulation, because it's not spring, but because it may be fall or winter and the liver doesn't get stimulated, it's great to take a more sour flavor, but not in the springtime. So moderate sour flavor in the spring is fine, but not strong sour flavor. Shiitake or other mushrooms, including the lion's mane mushrooms, they are very good to support liver function. The shiitake is especially good to soften a really hard liver. If somebody has taken a lot of animal food or a lot of other hard, crunchy, salty foods, pretzels, etc. Or also adding a little bit of apple cider, barley malt, or sour green applesauce into your menu can be very helpful. If somebody has, let's say, virus and it's affecting the whole body and the liver, or maybe hepatitis or something like that, where the liver is swollen, expanded. And of course, the way that you can check whether your liver is swollen, when you lie down and you're wearing loose clothing or no clothing, you look down on your below your breast basically, and if the right lower ribs are much higher than the left lower ribs, then the liver is probably swollen. If the left side of the ribs are really much higher than the right side of the lips, then probably the spleen and stomach may be more swollen. But anyway, if there's a lot of swelling, then maybe umeboshi plum or a drink of umeshokuzu. And by the way, I'll have a home remedies cooking class in April. So umeshokuzu or umekuzu for inflamed or fatty liver conditions, or also taking miso soup, of course, with scallions, especially because the scallions bring the energy up and out, that spreading effect that is so important for the liver function. Carrot daikon drink to release excessive oils or fats, not only from the liver, also other places, but also here the carrot and daikon, ideally adding some scallions to that drink if we're talking about liver problems. Or the garlic and onions can be very good in general for liver, because the sulfuric components in the garlic and onions can also support the excretion of toxins from the liver. Then also we have green tea, which can be very, very helpful. The green tea, the green tea has many antioxidants that provides a protective effect on the liver, and the catechins, or I don't know how you pronounce it, catechins, help to reduce inflammation. So it's in that sense, green tea can be very, very helpful for liver function. Then, so leafy greens juice, also celery juice in the springtime, can be very good to eliminate especially excess animal quality protein that we may have taken during the winter. Now the leafy greens juice and the celery juice, both, if we take it a lot, they will have a cooling effect. So just, be aware. but especially leafy greens that maybe also have a tiny bitter flavor, like maybe a little bit with dandelion greens, or something that has a little bitter flavor, because the bitter flavor substances, they are the ones that really clean the liver well. Then, of course, the liver meridian starts on the toes, so massaging and rotating the big toes. The fourth toe is more the gallbladder toe. So, but especially the big toe for liver problems, the fourth toe, if you want to massage both liver, gallbladder, or stimulate both. So massaging them as if you're, massaging them like this, the big toe, and then rotating it one direction, the other direction. That's very, very good for stimulating if we're using the points farthest away from the liver, it goes deep inside. If we're stimulating points, if we're, let's say, massaging directly around where the liver is, then we're more stimulating the surface of the liver, but not going deep inside. So that's why if you want to have deep access to the liver, use the points that are far away on the toes. That will go deeper into the organ. And of course, general physical whole body exercise regularly, whatever brings you joy is best. But also eye exercises, ideally with eye exercises, very simply rubbing your hands, putting your palms over your eyes, and then, and I'm taking my palms off now so you can see, but then if you do that with your palms over your eyes, but then you would look up, look down, left, right, rotate the eyes in one direction, rotate them in the other direction, look lower left corner, right upper corner, right lower corner, left upper corner, something like that, that can be very good. And then also focusing and defocusing on near and far objects, that can be very good for liver as well. If the liver is in pain and the liver is hard and tight, then a hot towel compress is good, followed by a cool plaster. If the liver is inflamed, then better no hot towel compress, but just like a leafy greens plaster to, make it more alkaline, pull toxins through the skin, cool the liver down. That's a better option. Okay. And that would be that part of the presentation. What questions or comments would you have?
That was fantastic, Bettina.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
I have two questions real quick. When you say the fourth toe, is that the little toe or the one next to that?
The first toe, I'm actually talking about the big toe.
Okay, but then you also said the fourth toe.
The fourth toe, yeah, so if this is the big toe, the fourth toe is the one next to the little toe.
Okay, so kind of like the ring finger toe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big toe, this is the ring finger toe.
Okay, and then is there an easy way to make celery juice besides just put it in the blender, or would you grate it on a ceramic grater? Or
I would put it in a juicer or blend it. Yeah.
okay, that's it.
Yep. Good, Elizabeth.
I noticed that last spring and then last night, I wake up at 4 in the morning sometimes, and then I find it hard to go back to sleep. But that doesn't happen in the winter. Is that a liver symptom?
I mean, usually liver is a little bit earlier at night. So this would be probably 4 that would be going more, I would say, almost lung deficiency or something. But and it's, you know, considering also that it's now almost opposite the energy of lungs, so maybe your lung function isn't so strong right now, so that's why in the spring then you know, there's a little bit of an imbalance and it shows up a little bit more. But I mean, obviously, I mean, it's not disrupting your whole night's sleep or something.
Well, this is the first time it's happened in this cycle, so maybe it won't repeat. But last year, I remember it happened a lot. If I would get up and eat something, then I could go back to sleep.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Hypoglycemia also.
But it's not liver, you don't think?
You don't think it's liver at that?
Okay, thank you.
I mean, usually liver gallbladder is a little bit earlier at night, and it's just that's more the end of, okay, then we have to consider that it's summertime. We just changed the time, of course, so it would be, it's actually, the real time would be 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's more lung related.
okay.
Any other questions?
Bettina, would the infrared be good?
Well, it can be, again, if there's already heat conditions like inflammation, no. But, you know, for certain other conditions, or also in some cases also for making the liver sweat so that virus can be discharged through the skin, in that sense, yes.
That doesn't sound good.
Why not?
Oh, so you mean the liver would discharge through the skin like rashes and things?
No, just sweat, through sweat, making
Oh,
the liver sweat. So
I don't think the infrared would make you sweat.
well,
It's just a little it's a little matte.
okay, if it's a little matte, then it may not be strong enough. But I mean, you can get infrared lamps that are stronger. That okay,
It's
yeah, it's not strong enough. But
no,
if you have a real lamp there and you put it long enough on an organ, it can make that area sweat, and I mean, you know, make your body sweat from that area, and then that organ underneath that area, if it's on the liver, it would be discharging stuff from the liver as well. Not through rashes, but just through sweating.
so I have it, but I've been afraid to use it. Sometimes I used it on the kidneys and the back.
I mean, I would say, you know, now that it's getting a little warmer outside,
Went on. I was talking about it. Okay.
maybe to show you, here I am. Use.
So okay, so
I mean, I would say generally, you know, not as I mean, I think it's really good to use for sure in more of the cooler season.
okay.
But if you feel that you need it, then use it. But otherwise, I would say right now it's maybe better if you know, get some sunshine.
Oh, okay. I got it. No, I understand. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Then let's go to our meditation part.
I want to share something. One of our Tai Chi teachers is Chinese, and she taught us one day the Chinese exercises she learned as a child. And they're exactly what you went through. And you can Google them as the Chinese exercises taught to children in school. And they actually learn these in school. And they have to do them at her school. They would do them after they would sit and eat while they sat and digested their food after eating. I thought that it was fascinating. And there are about 20 of them. I mean, it's long. It took at least 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was really wonderful.
Yeah, those kind of things are really good, actually. And I wish, in our schools,
Yes.
more options like those that would, enhance not only digestion, but enhance all the body functions, including the mind, and stabilize emotions, all of that. It would, even if you're not eating the greatest food, but if you're at least doing some exercises afterwards, it doesn't get the foods not stuck as much in the system. So
Interesting. Thank you.
okay, I will turn, of course, on a little candle here. I don't know, probably can't see it, but oh well, a little bit. Okay, but for me, of course, always a candle, the fire, is burning any impurities and moving things out. And of course, this time, because we're the equinox, meaning the day and the night are the same, everything is more, it's all about harmony. It's about, harmony of conscious and subconscious, harmony of day and night, harmony of light and shadows, and so having both there. But it's also a very good time because we're at this harmonic balance point. Of course, the solstices are the opposite. It's either a long day or a long night. But the equinoxes is where everything is more in balance. And at that time, it's very good to imagine also that we are cleansing ourselves of old stuff. So, taking a moment to tell yourself to let go of contracts that you made that no longer serve you, whether you're aware of them or not. Of things that you may be carrying somewhere in your psyche or your body, of course, in ourselves, from our ancestors, from our life, from other lives. I mean, there's a lot of information stored in our cells that is just there and sort of making life a little bit heavy for us. But at this time, it's always a good time to ask the higher self, the greater part of ourselves, or the divine presence, whoever you feel most comfortable with, but to ask them to clear that out so that we're not carrying all that heavy baggage around with us that is no longer necessary, and clearing it out with all copy functions, with all security functions. Sometimes, we have built-in programs that would reinstall the old things again and again in our system. Just like on a computer, there are these, security functions in case you lose something, you can find it again. But in this case, stuff that is really not serving us, not in our best interest, having it dissolved with all copying functions, with all side effects, with all security devices that are attached to it, and all the, other copies, etc., that may be stored somewhere, just cleaning it out completely. So that also is very helpful for us. And as I said, we will start in a moment with first a meditation that is a little bit guided, and then we'll go in the other part is maybe also guided, but it's a little less focus, and I think both is important. So, allow yourselves to relax, taking a deep breath in and out. Imagining waves of relaxation to wash over you, wash through you from head to toe. And these waves of relaxation, really, they are washing away more and more vestiges of stress, of tension, of anxiety, and even of all that other stuff that we don't need anymore, that is not in our highest interest. So that all that is left is like a glass clear body, waves of relaxation washing over you, washing through you, relaxing you more and more. And allowing your inner eyes to open and finding yourself in a safe place, your safe place, a safe place in nature. Look around you, smell the air, and most of all, allow yourself to enjoy and relax in this safe place that you are creating. And from over a hill, or perhaps emerging through some trees, or maybe coming down a path, you notice a figure. And just from the way that they walk, the way that their gestures are, their movement is, you know that this is your personal guide, your higher self. And you allow yourself to rise and greet them in a warm, loving embrace. And allow yourself to feel the love that they have for you. And also allow yourself to feel the love that you have for them. A true exchange of love. And reluctantly allow yourself to step back from the embrace and look into your higher selves or guide's eyes. If you don't already now know their name, this may be a good time to ask them whatever name pops into your head first. Allow it to be. And then remember a time in your life. Everybody had a time in their life when they felt joy. Whether it was as a little child, whether as an adult, whether it was yesterday, whether it was 50 years ago, it doesn't matter. Remember a time in your life when you felt happy. And just keep that feeling, keep that image with you for a moment. And in your mind's eye, see a space in front of you. It may be a sphere, it may be a cube in diameter about as tall as you are. And then imagine that you fill this space, this geometric form with your joy. You just feed it with your joy. Feed it, fill it, keep filling it. Yeah, a little bit more fits in, and feed it more. Just fill it more until it's bursting at the seams, and then just a little bit more joy can fit in. This space is representing your future. This geometric pattern, the cube or the sphere, is representing your future. Amp the joy up. Allow yourself to feel the energy of joyful anticipation of your future. Fill it until it is brimming with joy. Expand the boundaries just a little bit more. Fill it again. And finally, ask your higher self or your guide to plant this energy in your near future. And you see them stepping into this geometric form and walking with it towards the horizon. And they are planting it for you in your near future, but always connected with you. And then it is time to come back to here and now. Opening your eyes, taking a deep breath in, letting it out. Letting your breath flow in and out naturally without forcing. Not being particularly aware of it, just letting the body do its natural functions. Being aware of your perception of your senses, but not focusing on anything in particular. Just allowing everything to be there. And you're here, you're aware, or you simply are. I simply am. There's nothing to do, nothing to accomplish. You are in the now moment. thoughts may pop up. You notice them, but not engaging particularly with any thought. The mind does its own thing. Thoughts, awarenesses come and go. But you simply are. I simply am. Maybe you are aware of the beating of your heart. Maybe you're aware of the space between the beating of your heart. Just arriving in this moment. Without achieving, with nothing to pursue, just being and accepting. Accepting oneself with and for everything that we are. Even releasing a sense of time. There's no past, no future, only now. And you know that you are. And you know in this place also that all is well and all is right. And whatever is happening is not happening to us, but it is happening with us and for us. Then it is time to even come back to our normal awareness from here, from the out of time space time to our more regular awareness. So taking once again a deep breath in, holding it for a moment, letting it out. Maybe tapping a little bit on the head to center yourself. Maybe, moving your fingers, your hands, rubbing your hands, maybe moving your toes, stretching. All right. And knowing that even it seems like we have done nothing, but when we're coming together, and even in this moment of just coming together and sort of not doing anything, we are making more balance within ourselves and even putting it into the field of consciousness of the world in general. So I thank you very much for joining me once again. And of course, if anybody wishes to say something, I invite you to say something now, to share if you wish to share something. I think, Marcia, you said something, but you were muted, so I couldn't hear you. No. Okay. And of course, I'm not forcing anybody, but thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And I would say, if you still have a moment this evening, take another moment, check in with your higher self, send a message to your higher self that the connection may stay open from now on, because really the energies in our world are changing. I think the etheric or non-physical energies are becoming more accessible, more easier. The intuition is coming more to the forefront now. And, sometimes, of course, we have our own blocks where we don't allow things to come forward. But even if every morning we're asking our soul, our higher self, that it is our desire to have them lead us and to drop in the information whenever we're open for it, then they know that, we want to be in touch with them, and they will find a way to let that information drop in so that we can access it, that we can use it, that it can be not only for our best and highest interest, but for the world at large as well. If there are no questions or anything, I think we shall close. But if anybody wishes to share something, I once again invite you to share. But if not, that's perfectly fine.
I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Bettina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bettina.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
So mellow.
and happy spring.
Happy spring.
Yeah, happy spring.
Yeah.
That was absolutely divine. Thank you, Bettina.
It was. I feel so mellow.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better going out than coming in. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. you have a wonderful night, and hope to see you sometime soon.
Okay, see you next time.
See
You
you
too.
next.
Everyone is flowing.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Love you all. Mwah.
Bye.
Well.